grandma always said, only have the amount of kids that you can take care of by yourself, even if you're married to the best man on the earth. Because the one sure thing a man will do is tell a lie. And in most cases, men lie about children. Men want children the way that children want pets. And when they think about children, they think about the fun aspect or just being able to brag and say that they have children. Not all men, but a very large amount of them. And when they think about having children, they think about the mother doing all of the brunt work and the responsibility that comes along with taking care of the children.
My mother had a saying, and it's the saying that goes, "Mama's baby, daddy's maybe."
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like this clip was pretty much saying that,
Yeah.
like, mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
Cause that baby
Um,
is your baby. That baby
right.
is your baby. No matter what that man do, that baby is your baby. Stop
Hmm.
letting these men lie to you about wanting children. And she's right. And it sounds very bitter. It does sound very bitter. But everyone who sounds bitter knows from experience. You got a child. I got a child. And no matter what the dads do, we're not going to take away from what they do, but we're also not going to take away from what we do. Okay? I had an experience with a guy who lied about wanting to be a dad. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to like trash him, but that is what I lived. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you were saying all the things, you know what I mean? Like, I loved you and you loved me and you wanted to have be a wife one day and have kids one day, and cool. So when we decide to be in this area together, but we're loving and we're creating and living together, we're living, you know, and then the pregnancy comes up, and I felt like that was a moment where a little introspection could have went a long way, because I think the it wasn't enthusiasm, I would never use that word, but the acceptance of the pregnancy had more to do with what it would look like to other people as opposed to a real personal desire within him. And he gave me that dishonesty, and I'm like, this is the man who I love. I'm going to spend my life with. We're going to, we got all these plans for the future together, and now, he's accepting and speaking and wanting of the kid. I'm in bliss. And meanwhile, I'm being deceived because you're a fucking liar. Because you don't know what you want. No, you know what you want. You just don't want to tell me what you want.
Mm.
Yeah.
My mother is crazy because everything she told me, you know how like you get older and certain stuff your parents tell you, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what they meant.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother used to say, even as a married woman, she was still a single mother.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, to my experience, I remember me having my son, and me and his father were together,
Mm-hmm.
but it always felt like I carried the majority of the burden
Yeah.
for my child. Like, I had to remember dates and times and places he needed to be and doctor's appointments. Not only that, but I'm here now remembering it for me, remembering it for him, and then remembering it for a grown ass man all at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, right? So it's crazy because it's like, even if the man is there, whether he wants to be a father or not, because there's men that want to be fathers. Like, my
Yeah.
son's father, he wanted to be a father. He loves being a father.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's just certain burdens that fall heavily upon mom, and mom is expected to do
You
than
know
than
what?
our dad.
I don't know about that. I don't disagree with you, but I think if a man really wanted to be a dad, then those burdens that fall on mom are no longer going to be felt by mom. Like, 'cause I agree with you. I say all the time, there are men who want wives and families, and then there are men who want to be dads. Those men who want to be dads, they're gonna have the same kind of mindsets, kind of like a woman, not exactly, because obviously we're different, but it's like the idea of when my son was little, his first time going to the park, that was a big deal for me because I ain't never had no kid before. He ain't never been to the park before. This is the first we're gonna do together. A man who wants to be a dad is gonna have that same kind of enthusiasm for shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe it's not going to the park, but it's going to be things like that. They're going to think about their child in a way that we think about our kid as a mom because they wanted this. They're not dealing with it as it came along. They're not, adjusting to a circumstance. They want this. They are striving for this. So they think about all the things that they would do and want to do for it. So I think if there's a man who's lacking in that and you wanted to be a dad, you didn't you wanted to have a child, and there's a huge difference than that. There's a huge fucking difference.
I think it's also a difference in level of maturity. Like, so for instance, as a woman, the minute we get pregnant, our whole mindset shifts.
Yeah.
Our whole thought process shifts. Cause now it's like, oh, I have a whole nother life I gotta take care of. Like
Hmm.
that changes our maturity level in a lot of
Hmm.
ways. Men don't necessarily, that switch doesn't flip for them until the baby's here. And sometimes it takes even longer.
I was about to say, like, not is it could switch.
It could switch, but sometimes it takes even longer. And at the end of the day, women are always, when it comes to maturity level and responsibility, women are always like years ahead of men. Like,
Of
I,
course.
I literally just went on a trip with my son's school, and it's crazy because you're talking about a bunch of seventh grade girls and boys,
Hmm.
and the girls was way more mature
Hmm.
than a lot of the boys were. And it's like they're the same age, but you
Yeah.
could see the difference
Hmm.
in their maturity level. And I think it's the same thing. It also depends on the maturity level because women, we're going to, our mind changes the minute we find out we're pregnant.
Right. Right. You know what, too? I think, like, with the whole idea, like, men lying about wanting children, it is because, and this might be a hot take, and the men might try to, chase me with pitchforks to the stake and burn me at a fire. I don't know. But men want what other men want because they constantly seek
Mm.
male approval. So, as a man, they're told, first of all, men are catered to in our patriarchal society. So they're told they're supposed to have a wife who's going to dote on them and bear them children. And then they see the other men who are doing that. And then they do that to follow that to get that approval, which is why you end up with men married to women that they don't love and having kids that they don't want because they're supposed to do that because other men said that you're supposed to do that. You understand what I'm saying? And
And
that inability to
that's
be
the biggest
honest
problem.
makes us suffer the consequence because y'all
That
want kids so that John and the boys at the golf course or the basketball court will be like, oh, welcome to the club, big bro. You did what a man is supposed to do. That's insane.
and that's the biggest problem because that should be a conversation in any relationship. First off, I'm not about to sit here and say that I'm going to have kids. Like if I'm one, no man is going to force me to have a baby. Okay,
Mm,
if I'm not in the mood to have a baby or I don't want to have a baby, I'm not about to sit here and take on a baby. So people having 6, 7, 8 kids, that woman chose to have that many kids
bitch.
and push that many kids out her hoo ha
Bitch. Ain't
because there's no
no
way.
way. First of all, if a man try to get me pregnant 6, 7, 8 times, that is attempted murder. I don't care
That
what
is a red
nobody
flag.
said. And, like, no, it's jellable. Like, I feel like I should be able to kill you and without consequence. Because who is you breeding like that? I am a human, not a fucking dog, girl.
Like, I am not a rabbit. I'm not about to
Mm,
sit here popping out baby after
yeah.
baby after baby. And it's crazy because it's like way back in the day, like our grandparents, great grandparents, grandma would have like 16 kids.
Girl, my grandmother got 10.
And you sitting here like, how did you do it? And they
Why
would
did you
still
do it?
somehow be together. They might have hated each other. Some of them hated each other.
But I was different too, because she ain't had the same rights and abilities and whatnot.
You
So they
right.
stayed together, and also societal pressures was different back then. Now having a baby out of wedlock is not a big deal. Being unwed is not a big deal. And we can make our own money and whatnot. So our circumstances are absolutely different. But with that being said, it's so insane to me that there are still women who will have a child with the intention of wanting that baby to be what keeps this man. Are you fucking unwell in your head?
Hmm.
You want to a baby to keep a man? I feel like you can get lingerie
I
to
knew
keep a
someone,
man.
I literally knew someone who had like 6, 7 kids and literally admitted to the fact that she had all them kids just so that way she wouldn't lose her welfare. like I'm so serious when I say that. And the look on my face is like, what?
You know, I think it should be legal to question and then sterilize some people because that's abusive. You ain't doing shit with them kids properly if you're having them so that
No.
you can be on fucking welfare. That's not even you. You don't even get shit on welfare. You're not getting fucking mansions and gold toilets and butlers and you money.
I'll
Like
put
you're.
it to you this way: it was enough for her to maintain her standard, as low as it was, of living.
I
Like,
know, I know, I
because
know.
that's a very low standard. Like,
That just I'm just I feel like men lie about wanting children, but then the other side of that is also women have to take some responsibility for feeding into that. We go with
exactly.
our own desires and then we take our fucking desires and allow us to delude ourselves, okay? So that we can get what we want. And then when things don't work out, we can lean on, oh well, I he said this and he wanted that and like you knew it wasn't true when he said it. Like you got to take some responsibility because there's some niggas you know they lying. They lied about going to the corner store. He
What
lied about
kills
his
me?
last name. Like
What kills me is the women who he'll have 7 kids already
mm,
by like 3 different baby mamas, and she come popping out 2 more. Mind you, he don't take care of the other 7. So at what point now you're mad because he's not taking care of your 2, but he has a pattern here, like he has a track record,
I
like
have seen that entirely too much. Like when you are the third and fourth baby mama, and even a responsible man who's taking care of his children, he can't be that responsible if he's having three and four and five other women carry his
exactly.
kids. And even if he's responsible, you have to take a second and kind of question what is your scale of morality, because
Mhm.
you're creating a bunch of broken homes. Because I don't care how people try to say, oh well, you can't be in all these homes full time at one time in the way that a child needs you. A child needs you constantly. You're having all of these broken homes. So sure, you might be taking care of them, you might love them, you might treat the moms nice, but what is it in you that you keep creating these broken homes with all these random kids, with all these random women? Like, why are you so comfortable having sex unprotected with a bunch of strangers, because you cannot be getting to know everybody and going to get tested and then deciding to take the condom off if you have that many people with your children. That's just
Right.
it's the numbers will
But
not add up.
that is also a prime example of a woman being like being accountable for herself, because there'd be no way for me that you already have 4 baby mamas and 8 kids, and here I'm going to be boo boo the fool and be number 5, like,
Girl,
and you're
you
not taking care of any of the ones you have already, like.
like I beg your pardon. Like this
So
is
I'm getting, if you decide you're gonna leave me with whatever kids we have, guess what? I got everything I deserved for being stupid.
and I think we sometimes as women a lot nowadays, especially if you go online, the inability to take accountability for that. I feel like it's like we've worked so hard to be seen as like, strong and being able to make our own decisions and then immediately go to play the victim when it comes to taking accountability for things like that. But just to get back on task here about men lying about having children, the other part of that too are the men who have so many children, but then they're like embarrassed. So like one time I met this guy at the store and he was just like so wanting to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like you get somebody your phone number because you're not going to shoot me for rejecting you, right? First conversation, because I wasn't interested anyway. And, so I'm like, okay, but here we are. We're texting. It was 4 questions. And I said, well, do you have any children? He said, yeah. So I said, okay, how many? And his reply didn't answer the question. You know what I mean? Didn't answer the question. So then I went back to, I said, so how many kids do you have? I'm like, he's like, he has 5. First of all, bitch, I said, oh no. I didn't say that. I said, well, how? I said, all by the same woman? He said no and then switched the subject. I said, well, how many women? He said, dang, you trying to get all deep in the first conversation. This is not deep. This nigga had
This
5
is
kids
surface
by
level.
5 women. And out here, I said, you think I'm finna be number 6? I was like, I really wish the best for you, but I'm not interested. And the amount of upsets I got because I was not willing to talk to this man who I didn't want to talk to in the first place with 5 kids by 5 women, and you 38 years fucking old. Are you crazy? Are you out of
That,
your
that
fucking mind?
that's almost as crazy as the guy I was dating. This was years ago, who literally had a whole kid and lied about the whole kid. Told me the kid was his nephew,
Bitch.
but his brother ended up blowing him up. That and the fact that the idiot decided to load pictures from his phone to my laptop of him in the delivery room. You ain't in your sister's delivery room, bro.
What do
Like
you
what?
gain by that? Like, why do you think I want to deal with a man who's lying about the children that he has? It's one thing to lie about wanting to have kids. Not that that's right. It's one thing to lie about wanting to have kids, but then to lie about the kids that you actually have, you're a terrible fucking person.
It's crazy. Like that's crazy to me.
There's,
And as a
I
mother, there's no way we could ever lie about like
And
we
we
can't
wouldn't
lie
even
about
think to do that though. There's nothing in the world. Like, I met a girl yesterday. I was out with my homegirls at dinner, and I met one of their friends who I didn't know. She know I got a son. I know she got a daughter. We done talked and showed pictures. There's no way your kid doesn't come up unless you are intentionally not bringing them up, Drake.
that. Right.
Like, come on.
Like
Like,
for
come
mothers,
on.
most of the time our kids are always with us. Like even if we're married,
Exactly.
our kids are mostly always with us.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, how am I supposed to hide a kid? Like,
Right.
like
Right. Right. And it's just like, but then it's also like you said, like, our kids are always with us, right? And it's like, these men who want these kids, why are you never with your kid, or why aren't you
mhm,
doing more with your kid? I had experience where you are with your kid, and it's the weirdest thing ever. Like, you are with your kid, but you're not doing anything with them. Like, if you got something to do, then you don't go to do it because you got to be home with your kid, as if your kid isn't mobile to go out. You understand what I'm saying? So it's also like, and maybe you're not at this point denying your child, but it still feels like you're harboring a bit of a secret or something. Like, there's a part of you that hasn't accepted your reality. And
mhm,
that brings me back to the fact that when it came up for the whole idea of the pregnancy, you was not honest about what it is you wanted at the other end of that. And now you end up in a situation where you didn't see this for your life, and you're having a terrible time adjusting to it. Like, girl, he used to say that, oh, I'm still adjusting. If you and I said to him one time, I said, I swear to God, if you say that to me one time, I'm gonna punch you right in your fucking chest. How are you
First
still
off, if you're
adjusting to some
adjusting and
shit?
your kid is 6 years old, there's a problem. You should.
Like, the boy is speaking words at this point in time. How much fucking adjusting do you want? And I flat out said to him, like, on some real shit, I said, I feel like you just don't like our son. And oh my God, how offended was he? How could you say that? I'm like, well, when you do, I've seen the way you are with people you like. And he seems more like an obligation and a nuisance when you don't have to fulfill that obligation. And he leans so much on me for it. So, and my thing was, I'm not going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to bite you about my child. Absolutely not.
Or like the fathers that go, I gotta watch my kids. You're not watching your kids. You're being a parent. Like, if anyone that says I have to watch my child,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that's you ain't a
Yeah.
fucking babysitter. That is your child. Like you're being a parent. You're being an
Right.
active parent.
Right.
I don't sit here and when I have my son talk about I gotta watch him.
Because he wanted you to have that baby, and then when he thought about you taking care of that baby, just like that young lady said, this kid is now yours but my responsibility. It's not a fucking
Mhm.
pet. You want to have this baby the way that people have dogs, and my 10-year-old wants a dog, and now I'm walking the dog and training the dog and feeding the dog and bathing the dog, and you're playing with the dog and cuddling in his cute pictures and everything else, so that you and
They
this
want all the
dog
fun
can be in a
benefits.
clean. Exactly. It's my like, no. And then you do that with a baby, you're out of your mind, because the baby turns into a toddler, and a toddler turns into a kid, and a kid turns into a teenager, and a teenager turns into an adult. And through all of these phases, it is very necessary for the parents to be present. And
Hmm.
fathers feel like the mom got it, or they want to come in and be like a disciplinarian. You don't want to put in nothing nowhere else, but you want to discipline the kid. You want to. You can't have one foot in and one foot out,
Nope.
especially if you told me that this was something you wanted. Now I'm being shocked off of my fucking wazoo, because what you wanted isn't actually what you wanted, but it's not something that we can reverse. It's not a sweater. You can't take it back to the store. You know, like,
Damn sure can because you know what? Like a lot of mothers probably would have traded in their parent card a long time ago if they could. Like,
like, as you seen on, like, on TikTok, you seen like videos and stuff where the women are like, well, we broke up, and like the women are giving the men full custody and just paying the child support, and going, oh my God, the men are mad. They
listen,
are
I saw a TikTok
so.
video of a man and he was like, I never realized he ended up having his kids for like the whole summer.
Oh yeah,
And
I saw this
he
one.
was
Y'all.
talking about how he didn't realize how much money they really cost. And it's like, where do these men be? Like, what do y'all think it takes to feed and take care of children? Like, do you think it's
Girl.
just like, oh, they show up and they breastfeed until they're 25? No, like it doesn't work like that. Like, we gotta buy food, we gotta buy clothes.
All the
And
time.
he's
All
like,
the
I
time.
clearly wasn't giving her enough in child support. Oh, so now it
Oh,
took you to be with them for a whole 2.5 months, 3 months, for you to figure out that maybe you were undervaluing
yeah.
their mother when it
Yeah.
came to providing for them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that man was stressed the fuck up. Bitch, I saw that video. I saw it. I said, and I watched it too because I usually like just, but I watched the whole thing because you could see the exasperation and shock on his face.
uh-huh.
Like, but it's like this is why when they have them child support, oh, if I'm doing for my kid, da, da, da. This is why if you're not in the home, if you're not in the fucking home, what you do for your kid is always never enough. It's never going to be enough because you don't know what it takes. Like he said, he's talking about feeding his kids in that video. You understand what I'm saying? You're talking about feeding your kids. That's a lot of fucking money, especially right now. The fact that grapes is $6.99 a pound or some shit. I mean, you know what I mean? Food is insane. Now you got to feed these growing kids because they're not babies. They're not drinking bottles.
And then
Infamil is crazy too. But that cost of that, and then also the cost of your energy, and now he's experiencing this is what the mom does. Yes, so when they have these feeble ass weak ass attitudes when it comes to something like child support and your little $200-300 a month, oh, that I'm not able to do this, like
I'll
neither
never
am I.
forget, I went away for my 35th birthday. I went to Miami with like my
Mm-hmm.
girls trip. And it's funny because, as mom, we the ones, we do most of the housework, taking care and the responsibilities. I was gone for 2 weeks, came back, and my son's father was like, I didn't realize it would be this much work. And I started laughing. I'm like, oh, so you get it now. Like, I'm not just like, when I'm telling you I need help, I'm not just making it up. Like, I
Right,
can't do it all,
right.
so that's when I need you to step in. And I guess that was the point where he realized, like, yeah, exactly. Like, like a light bulb went off in his head
Mhm.
somewhere. Like, he was like, I missed you because this is a lot. Like, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like,
Then they wonder where our temperaments come from, where our lack of patience come from, why we're always so in tune. We get to be so in tune because we spend a lot of time with them, and we know the prevention is better than cure, so we prepare for shit. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
these men, like a baby is such a big responsibility. It's a big responsibility that never shrinks. It just changes over time.
It
And to
morphs.
not understand how all encompassing it is, how much time that you're going to spend on this kid, thinking about this kid, preparing for this kid, fixing whatever this kid messed up, and outside stuff that's not even directly for the related to the kid, but it's definitely going to affect them. This is why
Mhm.
like I seen something and I was like, I related to this so much. It's like, oh, we have a birthday party to go to on Saturday at 4. And a mom's brain is like, okay, so that means we need to get up by 9 because I need to make sure I make it to the store and I have to have meat thawed out so that I can have something cooked for dinner for this day. And that means by 12 o'clock, everybody should have been showered. And then before we do that, I have to make sure I have this because this person needs this medicine. And then we can get to the birthday party by 4, but we have to leave by 6:30 so that we can get there, everyone get in the shower and be in the bed. But that's how it is all the time. And men don't have that. They don't
No.
understand that we do that. So when we seem short patience, like, oh, she's always nagging, this, that, and the third, you're not helping. I have all of this, and now you're supposed to be a partner. You're supposed to be somebody who helps takes this burden away, and all you're doing is adding on to it. And I'm getting exasperated at the fact that I know you should be helping, but you're not. That's a whole nother type of annoyance.
Like, it gets to a point where they become more of a responsibility than a partner. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, that's why people, that's why women say, like, instead of 2 kids, I have 3, because you have the 2 children plus the
Mhm.
boyfriend, husband, whatever, who acts just like the child.
And you know what, Kat? Like, let me tell you this. So when I had my son, I was with his dad. We was together for a minute, and somewhere within that minute that we was together, our kid was, like 4 or 5, whatever years old, I don't know, and he wanted to have another baby. I was always adamant about I'm not having another baby. I'm not having another fucking baby. I love my son. He is actually a great kid if you had to have a kid. You know what I mean? Like, if he's the least amount of responsibility as far as other negative shit that comes with it, it's been an amazing time. But I've been adamant about not wanting no more kids. And he knew that, but he's like, he wanted to have a sibling. So at some point, at one point, I was like, all right, let's have a baby. Took out my IUD. I'm like, we're gonna try to have another baby. About 25 days, 25 to 30 days, I said, bitch, what the fuck is you doing? And I sat him down. I was like, I don't want to have no more kids. I had a momentary lapse of judgment. But the reality was, I thought about the fact that you are my other kid. I think about how I'm constantly like, I would get up and I would do Sunday cleaning, and he would be laying on the couch watching a movie or playing the game while I'm cleaning around him. And then the kid was little at the time, so I can't make him clean up because he's a toddler or whatever the case is. And it's just like, you don't assist me with anything, and I'm constantly creating everything so that you can just step in and follow my directions. So to have to do this with my kid and this with you and then add another new baby into that, I thought about that. I said, absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely
I
not.
I 110% understand where you're coming from, because that was a lot of my situation. Because and it becomes a lot. You become stressed, then they want to know why you're snappy, and then you're upset and you're aggravated, but it's like, I'm not getting the help. And mind you, you'll tell them, okay, I need help with this and this, and it just kind of goes in one ear and out the other.
I stopped saying that shit because I realized, like, oh, he like, okay, we got to do this so we can help mommy. And one day I said, stop saying that shit. You're not helping mommy. You're doing what needs to be done. You're not helping
Mhm.
mommy. The fact that I'm so exhausted living in a house with you and him, and I need a nap, and you have to finally get up and help mommy because she's so exhausted. That's not ringing a fucking alarm to you. That's not telling you that you're not doing enough.
Nope.
Like one day I'm like, can you clean the kitchen and do whatever the fuck else? And I did the rest of it. And he did. And like, of course, like cleaning is like the man cleaning, whatever. It was good. And we got done and half the time that I would by myself. And I said to him one day, I was like, you see how I'm like, we should do this all the time. And of course, silly me, because bitch, who the fuck is you trying to bargain with for something so stupid? But when you're in it, sometimes you got to go through the stupid to understand you'll never be stupid again. That was my moment.
Mhm.
I admit it. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you wanted another kid. You don't even want to do what you're supposed to do with this kid in the household, with the kid itself. You know what I mean? And it's like, what makes you want another child except for the fact that everybody keep telling us that, oh, when are y'all gonna have another baby? He needs a sibling. You should try for a girl. That's
All
what.
that's going to do is give you double the work.
Yes, but it's creating false desires for this man. You think you want these things because you're being told you should want these things, and I'm the bad guy for not giving it. I had my cousin say one time, like, well, you don't think that it's selfish that you won't give him another baby if he wanted another baby? I'm like, you don't think that it's
No.
selfish that he's demanding something of me that I don't want? Like I was the villain in that. But I'm not one to go for my desires. Is not going to be based on what other people think. Fuck you. I don't need
Right.
no direction in my life.
Not
But
only
he's
that, but
doing that.
I'm gonna bring a baby that I know I don't want into the world, and then I'm gonna be the one dealing with it. And in the back of my mind, I'll be like, I didn't want this in the first place.
Exactly. I didn't want this in the first place. And then if we're gonna be real, neither did you. Neither did
Exactly.
you.